After weeks of silence and mounting speculation, Ruth Langsford has finally been seen in public following the couple's heartbreaking announcement. Her appearance immediately ignited a storm of conversation, fans and media alike dissecting every gesture, every detail of her composure, and even the subtle choices behind her outfit. Known for her timeless grace and unshakable professionalism, Ruth carried herself with the same quiet dignity that has always defined her. But this time, there was something different. Observers noted not just elegance, but a profound strength, an unspoken message that even in the face of heartbreak, she is determined to move forward. The reaction was overwhelming. Social media erupted with words of encouragement for Ruth, praising her courage, her resilience, and the way she continues to hold herself together even as her life shifts so dramatically. For many, she is not just a presenter or a television personality, she is a role model, a reminder that dignity can shine even when life is at its most difficult. And yet, for longtime viewers who have watched Eamonn Holmes and Ruth Langsford together for decades, this moment also carried with it a sense of loss. To see their union, so often held up as one of British television's strongest partnerships, begin to unravel felt like losing a piece of shared history. But just as Amal Clooney once used her first post-divorce appearance to silently signal her resolve, Ruth's appearance has now become a rallying point, an inspiration for conversations about resilience, identity, and the courage it takes to walk forward into an uncertain future. For many of us, Eamonn Holmes and Ruth Langsford were not just a couple on television. They were a presence in our homes, familiar, comforting, and deeply relatable. Eamonn, with his sharp northern wit and unfiltered honesty, brought a down-to-earth charm to the screen that was rare in broadcasting. Ruth, with her warmth, elegance, and unwavering professionalism, balanced him perfectly. Together, they were more than co-presenters. They were companions who for years invited the nation to share in their laughter, their debates, and their gentle teasing of one another. It was this authenticity that won them such a loyal audience. Unlike the polished gloss of some television pairings, Eamonn and Ruth never pretended. They bickered, they disagreed, they made each other laugh. They reminded us of the very human reality of love, imperfect, funny, sometimes difficult, but deeply enduring. So when news began to circulate that their marriage was under strain, fans found it hard to believe. This was the couple who had weathered career shifts, health challenges, and public criticism together. If even they could struggle, what hope did the rest of us have? As rumors began to swirl, both Eamonn and Ruth chose silence. For weeks, neither offered any public statement. No interviews, no clarifications, no posts on social media to quiet the speculation. This silence only amplified curiosity. Newspapers ran headlines, talk shows debated their future, and online forums filled with theories. Some speculated that Eamonn's long battle with chronic pain and mobility issues had placed a heavy burden on their relationship. Others pointed to the intense pressures of working in the public eye, side by side, for so many years. A few even wondered if the very authenticity that made them so beloved, their willingness to disagree and challenge one another on air, might also have contributed to private difficulties. But through it all, neither Eamonn nor Ruth spoke out. And then at last, Ruth stepped into the public eye. Her appearance was understated but powerful. No dramatic gestures, no lengthy statements, just Ruth Langsford, walking calmly, carrying herself with the same composure she has always shown, yet radiating something new, a quiet defiance. Her outfit was simple, elegant, and deliberate. Analysts noted that it lacked the sparkle or flamboyance of some of her television looks. Instead, it spoke of strength, independence, and a refusal to be diminished by gossip. Fashion experts quickly agreed this was less about clothing and more about symbolism. Ruth was showing us that she is not retreating, she is not hiding, she is stepping forward, even in pain, with the dignity that has always defined her. The response was immediate. Fans flooded social media with messages of support for Ruth, praising her strength and her grace. Words like inspiration and courage appeared again and again in the comments. Many older viewers, especially women, saw in Ruth a reflection of their own lives, the struggle to hold steady when everything is seeming to shift. At the same time, conversations about Eamonn began to surface. Unlike Ruth, he remained largely absent from the public eye. For some, this absence sparked sympathy. Was he struggling more privately? For others, it raised frustration. Why had he not spoken? Why had Ruth been left to carry the public gaze alone? The truth, of course, may never be fully known, but one thing was clear. In this chapter of their story, Ruth had become the face of resilience. For decades, Eamonn Holmes and Ruth Langsford represented stability in a fast-changing media landscape. They bridged generations, appealing to younger audiences with their humor while comforting older viewers with their warmth and familiarity. To see that partnership falter is, for many, to lose a part of their own routine. Viewers have grown up with them, shared mornings with them, and in many ways felt as though they knew them personally. This is why the heartbreak feels so personal. It isn't just the story of two television presenters, it is the story of a couple who have been with us through breakfasts, through news cycles, through life's everyday moments. So where do they go from here? For Ruth, the path seems clear. She will, as always, pour herself into her work. Her career has never been defined solely by her marriage, and she continues to inspire as a presenter, a style icon, and a figure of resilience. For Eamonn, the future feels less certain. His health struggles have been well documented, and fans worry about what lies ahead for him personally and professionally. Will he retreat further from the public eye? Will he, in time, share his side of the story? These unanswered questions ensure that the nation will continue to follow their journey closely. Whatever the future holds, one thing cannot be erased: the legacy of Eamonn and Ruth together. They taught us that love isn't about perfection, it's about presence, about showing up day after day even when things aren't easy. And even now, as they face perhaps their hardest chapter yet, that legacy endures. Viewers will always remember the laughter, the warmth, and the unshakable sense that at their best, Eamonn and Ruth weren't just presenting television, they were sharing their lives with us. As Ruth Langsford steps forward, carrying herself with quiet dignity, she reminds us all of an important truth. Heartbreak does not diminish us, it shapes us, it strengthens us. And while the story of Eamonn and Ruth may be changing, it is far from over. This is just the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with uncertainty, but also with possibility. And as fans, as viewers, and as people who have shared in their journey for decades, we will be here, watching, waiting, and supporting them both, wherever the path leads next.